Hello, I'm Tim Harris. This is Julie Harris, and this is Real Estate Coaching Radio.
That's right. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for popping by. Hit that like button, and don't forget to leave your comments and questions so we can get right back with you.
We will. Thank you for continuing to make our podcast, Real Estate Coaching Radio, the number one listened to podcast for real estate professionals in at least the United States. And let us know what you think about this video. Leave your comments below. Thank you.
3, 2, 1, and we're back. We have a fantastic podcast for all of you today, or if you're watching us on YouTube, hopefully you'll enjoy us there as well. By the way, Julie, did I tell you that we're over 60,000 subscribers on YouTube now?
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, 60,000 subscribers. Last year, well, really in the last 12 months, we had, if I remember correctly, 3.2 million views on YouTube.
Gosh.
We had around 3 million downloads according to iTunes.
That's a ton.
It's a ton. And you know, those are different people, right?
Right.
People listening to us on the podcast or Stitcher or whatever else, they're not probably then hopping over to YouTube and watching the video.
Sure.
So there's over 7 million people, or rather, I'm sorry, there's over 7 million times one of our previous podcasts have been, watched or listened to. And it's our honor and our absolute pleasure to continue to be your online real estate, or your, video real estate coach. But let me focus on something that Julie and I are really excited about. And I have to say the rumors are true. We are indeed providing the framework for you to do a meetup in your local market. Now, let me explain. We have already pre-scheduled 50 meetups that are happening all over the United States, and then we're going to be expanding to Europe, Italy, France. We're also going down to Australia. These are going to be live meetup events that are hosted by you. If you choose to be a host, or you can just attend. In other words, we are setting the stage for all of you to represent real estate in your community, and we're going to, essentially provide you a backstop by exposing your live meetup to our podcast audience. And I just told you how large it is. So there is a 100% chance that if you're interested in being a host, you're going to have yourself you're going to find yourself walking into an environment where you're going to be around like-minded real estate professionals. They're all connected to us the same as you are through podcasts or their coaching clients, or maybe they know us from eXp Realty. And then you're going to be able to start building your professional centers of influence in your community. And by the way, that's going to be one of the topics we're going to talk about today. So here's what I want you to do now. And this is really urgent because each community only needs one host. And so a lot of the host roles are being grabbed, frankly. So go to this website right away. HarrisRealEstateMeetup.com. HarrisRealEstateMeetup.com. Again, I'm going to say it again. Harris, our last name, real estate, the business you're in, and meetup.com. It's not meetups, it's meetup, it's singular, okay? So go to harrisrealestatemeetup.com, and then if you're wanting just to attend a local meetup, it's already established, go ahead and RSVP. If you are interested, if there's not your particular community that's already has a scheduled meetup, well, that's great. Go you. Schedule the meetup. You propose an event. I've told our events team to go ahead and approve everyone that's wanting to have an event in their community. And then what we're going to do on our end is we're then going to promote your event on the podcast, on all of our email lists, all the other things we do on social. And we're going to also email into your community, letting folks know that you are hosting this event at this local, event place. Now, let's talk about locations. We want all of these, at least the first events, to be very casual. Why? Because it makes it easy. You don't have to worry about an agenda. You don't have to worry about costs. You don't have to worry about putting up chairs or projectors or PowerPoints. Just do a super casual event. If you're in Southern California and you're in Laguna Beach, do it, on the main beach. Just have a bunch of, 10, 15 people meet there. Maybe you're going to do a trash pickup or something just to give it a little bit more of a community feel.
It's a networking event.
It is a networking event. That's what meetup events are. Or here's another idea. If you're in Austin, Texas, let's say, and there's a local great barbecue place, everyone knows this place, loves to go to this place, announce that your meetup is happening at that place, and then you'll have people who love to go there anyway. They're already in the community. Then we'll meet up and you're going to be the center. You'll be the star of this particular event. Now, what we know will happen, because we've seen this happen with other concepts like this before, is that you're really going to love doing this. You're going to make some really powerful connections. Those people are going to have loved being at this event. You're going to make some long-term friendships and relationships, and then you're going to do another meetup maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks later. And you're going to choose another location. It could be a bar. It could be a bookstore. It could be a church. It doesn't matter. And then you're going to get more people inviting more people and inviting more people, and you will always be at the center. Now, why is this important to you? Real estate by its nature is a very cooperative business. That is really the heart of why real estate is, what it is. We cooperate with other real estate professionals so that we can get our listings sold, right? This is your way of positioning yourself in your community as a true leader. You will be a hub for other folks that are wanting to connect with like-minded professionals. And, there's a lot of other ways you could create momentum as well. Maybe you guys want to start exchanging your off-market listing information or listings that are about to be put for sale. Maybe you've got some investors. Like I'm thinking of Jonna Weber out in Boise, Idaho. Mm-hmm. She is powerful with investors. That's something that she has really carved out a niche. Well, she's already doing something similar to this, but if she wanted to expand upon it, she could start doing these live meetups, and she could have really the backbone of that be investors.
Absolutely. This is a scalable idea. Remember that this is hosted by you. You are the star of the show, but supported by us. You don't have to worry about content because this will have you around fellow coaching clients many times, the coaches sometimes, certainly podcast listeners. You already have the content in your brains. All you have to do is talk to each other.
Well, one of our coaches, Rochelle, our head coach really, Rochelle, is doing an event in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
So if you're in Columbus, you definitely want to go to that event. But again, this is, broker agnostic. You don't even have to be a coaching client. Heck, this could be the first podcast you listen to. You're not even a loyal fan yet. You're still invited. Everybody is invited. We're doing this because we know all of you need an excuse to get away from your keyboards, go out and meet fellow agents, and you're going to have, in most cases, you're going to have the common element of being attached somehow to this podcast as a coaching client or whatever, right? So you're going to have something to fall back on. You already have something in common in addition to the fact that they have real estate licenses as well. So go to harrisrealestatemeetup.com. The link is below along with our show notes. So if, for example, if you're driving or running or walking, just scroll down and you're going to see the link. RSVP, or you decide to be an event, a host at an established event, or let's say you want to create your own event. That's great. Our events team will approve it, and you host that as well. So we are super excited. Our goal is in this year, at least 250 events. We think if we do expand to many cities inside Europe, we're getting some people that are in Italy that are asking us to do these. That's great. We will certainly take you guys up on your offers. We had someone in Turin that wanted to host an event. Heck yes. We'd love to do one in Turin.
You got it. Okay, so on to today's topic, how to get 5 deals from friends in 5 weeks or less. 5 ways to get at least 5 deals from people you already know in 5 weeks or less. So just to keep you inspired and motivated, let's do the math together. Based on your average net commission, you multiply that number by 5. That's what this plan is worth to you. But let's just take an example. Let's say your average sale price is the same as, countrywide, it's averaging around $400,000. Your gross commission then is about $12,000, and your net is about $9,600 for most of you.
It's worth mentioning. As Julia's going through the numbers, I know some of you are thinking, oh no, my net's not that much. It's probably because you're buying buyer leads. It's probably because you're paying too many referral fees. The blessing of what we're showing you how to do is on your working with your centers of influence and past clients, very rarely, do you have any fee associated with it. So the commission that the seller agrees to pay is the commission that you make. Maybe you pay your broker something. You guys get it?
Your net is better on these deals. That's one of the reasons that we are highlighting this. Thank you for clarifying that, because that's a great point. You don't have referral fees on these in most cases. Now, this plan, let's say that your gross is about $12,000, your net is about $9,600 after costs. This plan is worth at least $48,000 to you, just using that math. Some of you have double that average sale price, and some of you have less costs. So look at it this way. Repeat this plan once per quarter. After all, it's only every 5 weeks, and it's worth at least $200,000 in income. For some of you, it might be double that. Just from being drilled down on your most obvious source of business, that's your sphere of influence and your past clients. But in order to get to the plan, we've got to make 3 quick assumptions, okay? Assumption number A is that your contacts are actually organized in some sort of CRM. Don't use that as an excuse. The best CRM is the one you know how to use. For example, if you're with EXP, you can use KV Core. Probably all of you listening already have the best CRM ever. It's called your contacts in your mobile phone.
And that's the easy button right there. So don't be dissuaded if you don't have an organized CRM. You do. It's in your phone.
Yes.
Or it's your old deal files. Don't use that as an excuse.
That's right.
I'm speaking to you, those of you who love to get ready to get started for months and months and months. You're telling yourself, oh, Tim and Julie, I love this idea, but I'm not going to call anyone until I have my list organized. Organize your list as you're doing the activity. Earn while you learn. That's the bottom line. Point B, Julie.
Yes, this is the part of the podcast where we eliminate their obvious objections. Okay. Next, assumption B, you are coachable and you will follow this plan exactly for 5 weeks with no excuses, modifications, exclusions, or inventions. All right. Assumption number C, you are not interested in throwing your money away on random leads or impressions, and you'd rather be nurturing people who already know you. These are your friends, your past clients, adopted clients, professional center of influence, and new people you meet and add to your database.
All right, we're getting to the plan now. Now, these are going to be simple. These are 5 simple steps that everyone can do. Julie's going to read her point, and then we're going to break it down to micro steps so you guys have action items to fall forward on.
Yes, I guess. And they can also find the notes. How do they find the notes? Because we are going to get into some detail.
Yeah, that's right. So scroll down. If you're on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, if you're over on YouTube, as we happen to know millions of you are, just scroll down and the notes from today are all there. We obviously add a ton more to our podcast other than what are in the notes because we can't stop ourselves from telling stories. But exactly. Julie, let's get to point number 1.
Yes, the plan. Point number 1, record one simple and short video. In the video, you will do 2 things. First, a simple market update, which you can find in your weekly or monthly reports from your board of realtors. You can find it on list reports. You get these emails all the time. It's easy to find. Easy to find, so no excuses. Next, you're going to offer to send a free comparable market analysis to see what their home is worth in today's market. Text or email you to receive your free analysis ASAP.
Be careful on texting. Make sure you guys are following, the texting rules with regards to that. Ultimately, by the way, a shortcut to all of this will be simply, calling them. And I'll give you guys a sample script of what you should consider doing. This is one of the least confrontational, I would say, and most effective things. Now, here, you guys a script is nothing other than a conversation outline. So when we say script, I know a small portion of you, but enough of you will repel. You're like, oh, I'm not going to use somebody else's words. That's fine. So use the script as a conversation outline and modify to your local, however your parlance is or how you want to present as yourself. But you've got to be direct with what your intention is. Otherwise, they're not going to know why the hell you called. I mean, honestly. So this would be, for example, of a short video. Maybe you can direct message this to them on Facebook or just whatever, right? But short video, ideally a minute or less. Don't try to overly, unless, you could do 1 million of these, but really it's inefficient. Do one video and then send it 1 million times. So listen, Julie, this is, I just broke my own rule and used a name.
That's okay.
Hey, this is Tim. I just wanted to let you know, look, I've been getting a lot of calls and emails from folks over the last 30 days, and everyone seems to be pretty well worried about what's going on in real estate and their home's value. And so what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start contacting every single one of my past clients, my centers of influence, people I know, care, and love, and I'm going to be letting them know what's going on in their home's value so they don't have to worry, because a lot of you guys are needlessly worrying. So I'm going to start out with a great news for you. You are a homeowner, which means basically in this market, you have won effectively the real estate lottery. Most of the homes in our community have doubled in value over the last 2 to 3 years. So if you bought 2 or 3 years ago, your house is potentially worth 2x what you paid for it. And here's the best news. It is anticipated that there's going to be more appreciation, of course, on real estate this year, upwards to at least 6%. And I believe that in some parts of our market, it's going to be closer to 10%. So here's what I'd like to do for you. If you would like, I'll be more than happy to do a quick drilled down study of what your home's value is. No problem. My absolute pleasure to do it. And I'll email it to you. And so if you're interested, just message me, let me know, and I'll obviously include your address, or I can look it up, of course. And then I'll do that CMA for you. That's what it is, comparative market analysis. And I'll give you an exact idea within, a couple $1,000 of what your home's worth in this market. So then at the very least, you can stop worrying. And in maybe some cases, that's going to maybe cause you to realize that you're sitting on a really great war chest of equity. And then when the right home comes for sale, maybe at that point you consider moving up. It's completely up to you. My only aim at this point is to make it so people don't have to needlessly worry.
Very well done. All right. And I know you guys weren't writing that fast, so that's one reason to join coaching, because we do this all the time with you guys, but you get the gist of it. You're providing value, and you're asking them to text or email you their request for a free market analysis.
What's also important that they pick out that some of you I know are listening, you have tons of centers of influence and past clients, and so that's going to be an easy script for you to follow. Others of you are new agents, you don't have any. That's the reason you might want to not say centers of influence and past clients, because that's kind of a nerdy and say friends, or say people I know, love, and care about, right? Because if you say, I'm calling everyone that I know, love, and care about, and if you don't say centers of influence, past clients, it's really up to you. I included it both just so that I could, frankly, hopefully make all of you realize this is a very simple thing to do. And again, know, love, and care about, and then helping people. Stop worrying. Focus on what you're there to do for them, which is essentially giving them who's not going to want to have that message sent to them? I would.
I'd be really excited to get that.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Yes. I won the real estate lottery. My house is worth twice what I paid, and it's going to be worth at least 6% more in 12 months. Now, modify that message if your centers of influence or who you're sending the message to happens to be a buyer. I'll leave it up to you. You're creative enough, but the gist of it is, skip the part where their home's appreciated and just get to the fact that homes are increasing in value, that there's a potential of 3 rate reductions that are anticipated to happen in the next 12 months, which means mortgage rates will go down. But the most important thing for you to, really focus on when you're talking with buyers, even if those buyers happen to be sellers, is that now is without a doubt the best time of the entire year, maybe for the rest of their lives, to purchase a home, because based on all leading indicators, real estate is going to do nothing but go up in value. So a home today that's $400,000, the average price of a home in the United States, there's an excellent chance in 6 months that house is going to be worth substantially more. Make sure that your buyers understand that. A lot of people feel like they're being priced out of the market, and they are. Why? Because they're waiting for things to happen that aren't going to happen. Prices are not going to fall in a meaningful way. There's going to be no real estate crash. There is no real estate bubble. Rates are not going back down to 3%. So be of service to your buyers. If you're dealing with a buyer that doesn't have a house to sell. I heard the stat that the average homeowner now is approaching first-time home buyers almost 40 years old.
That's right.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because that's decades of equity that they could have been building.
Well, paying rent is 100% interest.
Well, 100% correct.
Yeah.
And especially when you have this rapidly inflating market. And look, I'm not trying to be political. We're just dealing with the fact that there's not enough supply and there's a tremendous amount of demand. And that demand is increasing, not decreasing. Yes. And unless all of a sudden there's, 10x the number, well, probably realistically 4x the number of homes for sale, which there won't be, you're going to see for a long period of time, 10 plus years, dare I say, of increasing home values to the point where 10 years from now, that $400,000 house could very likely be $2 million. Who knows? I mean, these are the types of things that we're experiencing in Julie and I's lifetime for the first time. There's never been real estate that's appreciated that fast. It's all the things that are happening at once. Make sure you're conveying that to your clients. Do it with energy and excitement and also compassion, because some of them, frankly, aren't going to be able to buy if they're on the lower end. They're going to be squeezed out a lot of times.
Well, I'll tell you what some of my coaching clients are doing with their, I do have a crowd of my current class of elite clients who are on the younger end of the spectrum. They're in expensive markets like Seattle, for example, on the coasts. And your average first-time buyer probably isn't going to spend $800,000 or $900,000. So what are they doing? They're having an honest conversation like you just did about what values are going to do and how to build equity. The fact of the matter is that, and there's been lots of comparisons on this, somebody who owns property on average has a net worth of something like 28% times somebody that rents. So what are they doing? They're finding a condo in, maybe a new construction condo that isn't $800,000. Maybe it's $400,000. They turn it into a rental, or maybe they live in it for a couple of years and then they move up. So there are different options. The point is to make your phone ring, which brings me back to this whole is all about point number one. Why video? Number one, people are more likely to open the video. Number two, you're more likely to do the video because you're controlling the message. And number three, because you're going to reach more people more efficiently.
Now, be very clear. You guys are longtime listeners. You realize and you know that we're not just telling you to do just the video. And that leads us to point number next.
Thank you. Point number two, at least 2 times per week for the next 5 weeks, take a past client or a friend to coffee or lunch. Use your Ford script, F-O-R-D, that's Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams. We've done podcasts on that, and it's certainly part of coaching, to get caught up with them and to be sure to ask who do they know who could use your help buying or selling real estate. Bonus, if you can meet at another past client or friend's coffee shop, ice cream shop, bakery, restaurant, etc., connect your sphere of influence whenever possible.
That's what Julie and I did when we sold real estate. We always tried to do, when we were in New Albany specifically, we always tried to do when we get together with people at restaurants that were owned, well, like if you have a local Starbucks, the manager, if they get to know you, they're going to probably be a great source of referrals for you. I know where we were, that was definitely the case. It could just be, maybe there's a travel agency and who knows? There's all these different ways.
Connect the dots is the point.
Connect the dots. Don't just say, well, we're going to meet up at this park. I mean, that's fine and everything, but try to also remember that a lot of the local business owners are amazing sources of business because they're in direct contact with, guess what? The same folks that you want to do business with.
Well put. All right, point number 3, or part number 3 of your plan, make 5 contacts per day minimum, more is okay, to your past clients in your center of influence, your friends, 5 days a week for 5 weeks. A contact is a conversation with a decision-making adult about real estate. Now, note to self, you will have to dial more than 5 times to make your 5 contacts per day for 5 days a week for 5 weeks.
So what do you say? You've sent the video that we prescribed to you. You're going to then follow up and you're going to say essentially the same thing, but in many cases they're going to have acknowledged having seen the video. And then again, offer to do a more drilled down assessment of their home's value. And now when you're on the phone with them, I'm going to give you some advanced coaching here. Hopefully it's not in Julie's notes. It's not. It's incredibly important that you remember, if you call somebody on, the 8th of the month, you're going to, again, offer to do the CMA, offer to give them the more drilled down value of they're going to want the information because they're going to love hearing from you because you're always telling them that you're Ed McMahon giving them the big check. You guys get what I'm saying here? You're going to always be telling them good news 99% of the time about what's going on in their home's value. They're going to look forward to that contact from you if you contact them more than once. So what you need to start doing is contacting them every single month by phone and just checking in with them. And just say, hey, listen, I've got your updated CMA for you. And more good news, guess what? According to the last 30 days of home sales, it looks to me like real estate is really indeed on a trajectory to appreciate, inflate in value, maybe as much as 10% this year. Obviously, know your own local numbers. And then offer to do a CMA for them. Now, at that, when you start making the phone calls, even on the first phone call, but usually on the second phone call, end it with this. Because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to show them that you're going to be routinely calling them. You have to build that level of trust so they have confidence in your willingness to provide the continual stream of great information from them. And then end that call with, hey, by the way, Julie, who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling real estate in this market that I should be helping?
Yeah, gosh, somebody at work just got relocated.
You guys, that's what happens. And you're going to start discovering that when you've carved out that little niche in their head where you're now truly a real estate professional, you're truly here to be of service to other people, you then start asking for business. You start asking them in such a way that they're going to want to hear what you have to say. By the way, who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling real estate in this market that I should be helping? Emphasis on the word helping. Now, an advanced way of doing this is, hey, by the way, Julie, who are the 2 or 3 people that you know who are interested in buying and selling real estate in this market that I should be helping?
Yeah, and they will think about it because you asked who are the 2 or 3 people, right? Not do you know anyone? Some of you guys try the script, but you modify it and you get nervous and you say, do you know anybody? And nobody takes that time to think. They go, well, nobody right now. Look at how Tim phrased that. Scripting matters.
You can also say, for example, all right, I'm a pop quiz, just surprise them, have fun with it. Pop quiz, I'm going to ask you a question. Now, if this is the second or third time you've actually called them because you're actually doing this monthly, they're going to know what you're going to ask.
They'll see you coming.
Yeah, exactly. So pop quiz, Julie, who's the number one person that you would like to share with me who's thinking about buying or selling real estate in this market that I should be helping? You will start getting business that way. And if you guys think, well, that's just not my style, well, then modify it so it is your style. What am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to call folks and offer to be of value to them. That should hopefully be your style. If you don't like the way I said it or you're overanalyzing it and you want to modify it, that's fine, but do not take the bite out of it because the essence of it is you're offering to be of service, you're trying to help them, and you're asking who else you can help. You guys get it? I have a coaching client that will oftentimes say, I have the goal of helping X number of people this month. Mm-hmm. Those types of things make a big impact on people.
Well, guess where that script came from? From Premier Coaching. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably in our book.
Yes. And the more you do this, the more comfortable you'll become at it, and you won't be weird about it anymore. And you'll be just like the client that Tim just mentioned. doesn't even realize he's using a script anymore.
You know, Julie, you bring up a good point. I had a text that was from somebody who said, you know, I want to feel, this is somebody who's not in Premier Coaching. This is somebody who's a podcast listener. They're not part of our EXP Realty group. And this lady was voicing her concerns about the fact that she doesn't feel connected with agents in her community. She said a small brokerage, you know, small brokerages that, you know, there's no community there basically.
They're an island.
They're an island. That's exactly what she said. I feel like I'm an island. So I said, are you in Premier Coaching yet? And she said, no. Well, join Premier Coaching and start attending the daily semi-private coaching sessions. That's where you're going to start to feel a sense of community, because you're going, even if you just are a wallflower and you're just listening or watching on the Facebook live video of as other agents are asking the questions, that's right as rain. The moral of the story is you're going to be around like-minded people. What our Premier Coaching is a continuation of the movement that Julie and I are creating in the real estate industry. Obviously, millions and millions of you engage with us every single year. Premier Coaching is the next natural step. Just simply scroll down, click the link to join Premier Coaching. The first 30 days is free, or just go to premiercoaching.com. Again, it's very simple. You can join now, premiercoaching.com. No strings attached. Test it out for 30 days. Most of you are going to love the experience and you're going to stick around for years. So just go to premiercoaching.com. And also when you're there, make sure you log in. Make sure you get the link to go and join the daily semi-private coaching sessions. And then also look for the real estate treasure map. Look at all the content, all the forms and the scripts and everything else we're giving you in your first 30 days, which is, by the way, free. So just go to premiercoaching.com or scroll down and click the link.
So part 4 to your 5-part plan, go to at least 3 meetups per week and talk about real estate. Now, this is far more meetups than most of you do. Most of you do like 3 per quarter or 3 per month.
Meetup is anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be associated with that. You know, there's a company called meetup.com.
That's right.
You're just going to people, you're just putting yourself in environments where you're going to be around other humans.
That's right. These can be organizations, clubs, going to the gym, volunteering, or taking classes on something that you're interested in. So for example, maybe 2 times a week you go to Orange Theory or CrossFit, and then you add on the third one, might be going to your homeowners association meeting, go to your kids' school events. You can easily come up with 3 different things per week for week after week for 5 weeks in a row where you are around people. Bonus, when you make your meetings about real estate in some way, a lot of our coaching clients have taken this to the next level. For example, maybe you'd like to be involved in your town's historical society or architectural review committee. Mix it up so you can meet more people and, of course, add them to your CRM.
The easy button is definitely going to be going to like an Orange Theory, something where you're not just going to be walking around looking like the Unabomber with your headphones on, right?
Right. Hoodie with your headset in.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Julie and I, we made so many we weren't even selling real estate when we lived in Austin, Georgetown, Texas. And we would go to this Orange Theory, it just opened up, and we made so many great friends, people we're still connected to. And if we don't sell real estate, didn't sell real estate there.
Still we're used to just talking about real estate, though.
Couldn't shut up and stop not talking about real estate.
Yeah.
And so we started to generate, I don't even know how many referrals we generated out there, dozens.
I mean, people that were looking for a builder to work with. There was a new build rep that used to work next to us. There was a couple that used to sell jets. I mean, like it was amazing center of influence, many of whom we are still friends with today. So the point is to not just go to the gym and work out. That's good, go you. But part of, if you're doing it as part of this plan, it's to talk about real estate.
Well, again, it's the going on a regular basis. So if you want,
get to know people.
We would go every day at the same time. Now, if we were selling real estate, I would probably vary it, honestly.
Mix it up.
So for example, Julie and I would go 6 days of the week, probably. You don't have to kill yourself every day. And then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, maybe you'd go at, I'm just making up times here, guys. You might want to go at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, or you might want to go at 9 a.m. And then on the other days, go at a different time. But the key is to go every single time. The earlier you go in the day, the less likely you are to actually make any real good contacts, because a lot of people are locked into getting their workout done and going to the office. The best ones are where people are more casual are on the weekends and later in the day.
Yeah, that's right. I'll give you an example. Christopher Leon in Chicago, one of our longtime listeners and coaching client. He's in
EXP Realty with us.
And he's in EXP Realty. So you have Chicago referrals, send him over to Chris Leon. He has these basketball guys that he hangs out with. He's 30-something, loves playing basketball. I think he does it in the evenings. And he gets a lot of investor referrals and as well as listing and buyer referrals from them. We have listeners, Brian Seid out in Seattle. Big into hockey, stuff like this. These are things that you like to do anyway. Just make sure that you're talking about real estate. And a coaching client in Detroit, Detroit's frozen over most of the time. So what do? She wasn't that athletics, but she did book club. She loved to meet with her book club ladies, got lots of referrals.
By the way, we're not making fun of you, Detroit.
We love you. We're from Columbus.
Exactly. We're from Columbus, Ohio.
That's why we can say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so last but not least, and I think one of the more fun parts of this plan, number 5, send at least 5 handwritten cards per day, 5 days a week for 5 weeks. Send thank you or congratulations cards. You can use social media to get ideas.
In other words, stalk them a little bit online and see what they're, celebrating.
Yeah.
Johnny learned to ride the bike, or someone got a promotion, or they're on vacation, whatever. Just look for, tie-ins from that. People, like we had somebody come up to us when we were at so funny, we're tying all this together. We went to a car thing here in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And somebody comes up to us and just starts talking to us. And I'm feeling a little bit, he was being a little overly familiar. He must have sensed that my disease, and he said, "Oh, I follow you guys on Instagram."
I know that happens fairly. It's always when I get that, like, how did they know that? It's usually from social media.
But I mean, you and I
in
don't,
a good way.
And you and I don't sell real estate.
Nope.
But had we been, real estate agents, and that would have been a great tie-in, but always it's going to come back to the personal contact. A lot of you spend a ton of time and money and effort doing passive lead generation activities. That's the videos, that's the messaging, that's the email, that's the postcards, that's all the branding. That stuff is great. We love it. We teach you guys how to do it in Premier Coaching, but it doesn't work at the same level if you don't combine the proactive lead generation. Do the passive, but if you have a choice between, and you do have a choice between doing just proactive lead generation or just passive lead generation, and most of you are going to gravitate towards the passive because it's perceived as the easy button, less skill, less rejection. I can scale it. I can automate it. Why would I want to do one for one if I can do one for many? Because it's not as effective. Duh. I mean, obviously. So do focus on, if you want to do the passive stuff, that's fine. But if you reinforce the passive with being proactive, having these direct conversations, you won't believe how many more people are going to want to connect with you, but also how much, frankly, more money you'll make.
Well, that's right. Well put. And notice that one of our prequels to these points was be coachable, don't reinvent the wheel. And you notice how all these points are interchangeable between online, offline, passive, and active. You've got to do all of these in conjunction for you to get at least 5 deals in 5 weeks.
You know what really surprises me, Julie, is there are listeners right now who are saying, I'm just going to do, they're not even calling it passive, but maybe
they're just going to do like a 1.5 from the plan.
Well, they're going to do passive lead generation. They're going to do the Facebooking, the branding, the messaging, the videoing. They're just going to lean into hopefully YouTube rains leads on them. Okay. And what's going to happen is you guys are going to then double and triple down on the same activities. Here is ultimately the problem. And you intuitively should know what I'm saying is the stone cold truth. How do you go about choosing who you're going to work with? Don't you think that ultimately, sure, I get it. Sometimes you make connections through social. So do we. But ultimately, isn't the contact you make directly with a real human, how much more powerful is that? 1,000 times more powerful?
It's a lot more memorable.
And so if you're wondering why all the passive stuff doesn't work as well, it's because everybody's doing it. I got a whole bunch of people that are following me on Instagram or my Facebook or this, the other thing. Those same humans are being solicited in direct and indirect ways, mostly passively, right? By other agents. So you are competing essentially for the attention from that person that's in your Instagram list with 100 other real estate agents. That's ultimately the problem. And all of you are getting, this is really what drives Julie and I. Because if you don't hear what we're saying, you're going to start blaming yourself for the failure of all the passive lead generation stuff. You're going to start thinking, maybe my videos aren't good enough because maybe I'm too old, too young, too fat, too skinny, too this, the other thing. You're going to start intuitively, subconsciously almost, blaming yourself for the failure of whatever passive lead activity. I have great news for those of you who are on the cusp of wanting to actually hear the reality. The passive stuff has never worked that well. Ever, never has. If you drill down on anybody who has a successful real estate practice, not just for 12 months or 6 months or, Bob sold 50 houses first year, all from Facebook. Well, what Bob isn't telling you is he bought all those leads from Zillow. What Bob isn't telling you is they're paying massive referral fees or they're a part of a team where someone else gave them those leads. Well, they communicated with me through Facebook. That must have been a Facebook lead. No, it wasn't. They they may have gotten your information from somebody they also know at church, and they asked that person, who do you know that I should be working to buy, sell real estate? Well, there's this person named Bob, and he's great. He's also goes to the same church with Bob Smith. And then the person went online and then found your Facebook page and then messaged you through Facebook.
They used Facebook as the phone book.
That's exactly what happens. And then you say, I got this lead from Facebook. I'm going to be posting more pictures of my lunch. No, guys.
Facebook did not send you that lead.
Well, I mean, technically Facebook did send you the lead, but the lead actually came from a human.
Yes.
Cut through the malarkey and you know intuitively what I'm saying is true. More direct contacts are going to result in more paychecks. And based on Julie's math, many of you don't need that many paychecks to have an amazing year.
That's true. Now, here's a final rule. Always follow up by phone, or better yet in person, and with urgency when you get responses to these 5 strategies we've rolled out.
So they
set appointments.
So they message you. You can message them back, but you've got to call them.
Yes.
Close the loop. Oh, Tim, I went to a training event and they they told me that if someone emails, you should only email them back. If someone texts, you should only text them back. If someone screw all those rules.
Just
pick up the phone and call them.
I know there's some free YouTube guru, self-invented coach that a couple of coaching clients have told me about that this is their thing. When you get a lead, you don't want to call them back that fast.
Oh,
you should wait 3 to 5 days because you don't want them to think you're desperate. That's like, really? Are you kidding me?
That's the exact opposite of actually how a professional salesperson, which you are or hope to aspire to be, how they're supposed to act.
Nobody else. Imagine if you had a filling fallout and you called your dentist with urgency, you need an emergency appointment, and they got back with you like 5 days later.
You know, the thing that's actually very interesting to me, if you really want to psychoanalyze what you just said, anybody who's selling upper end real estate,
right,
and depending on your market, that could be $1 million, that could be $5 million. They know, because they're in that world where they're also essentially working with other service providers doing other things, how different upper end people expect their service providers to behave. So all of you, and why am I telling you that? You're not in an upper end area, because here's the reality. Upper end agents know that the time to the lead is all that matters. It's furiously fast lead follow-up. It's getting on the phone urgently and following up with them, answering all their questions.
Instantly being of service.
Not delegating them to an army assistance. The agents that are confused by this are the ones that have been, I was about to say suckered into believing, but I'm not going to say it. The ones that have been sold to believe that you get a lead and you are then putting them in a CRM and you drip on them for 1,000 years. And then maybe someday that person is going to actually do a real estate deal. They will, but probably with somebody else, because those same people are in, that same lead is in 10 other agents' CRMs, getting maybe even the same drips from those other agents.
They're going to transact with whoever called them.
Right. So right, exactly. There's a whole bunch of research that's been done on this. Mm-hmm. Most people buy virtually anything from the first human direct contact that they make. It could be a watch. It could be a roofing. You call 5 roofing contractors, the first roofing contractor that comes out right away, he's probably the one you're going to hire. He answered all your questions. The pricing seemed reasonable. Those are how ultimately professional salespeople act. Upper end people if you're wanting to be an upper end real estate sales profession, you've got to set aside all of what your preconceived beliefs are about being furiously fast with your lead follow-up. Those of you who are being sold into believing that lead follow-up is this long-form drip campaign and you've already formed your database, here's a challenge I have for you. And we can make it even this supplemental point number 6. Call every single one of the people that are in your CRM that you've been dripping on and get ready to be a little bit disappointed. As you learn, many of them actually transacted. Those who haven't, make sure you're using our scripts and you're pre-qualifying and finding out what their urgency is, finding out what their time frame is. And here's what you'll discover. Many of the people you've been dripping on, who have also been, again, getting information from other real estate agents in your marketplace, because you called, will choose to do business with you. It's the call. When everyone else is going digital and passive, it's the direct communication that wins the game. That's the reason, by the way, one of the main reasons why AI is never going to replace agents. AI might replace low-end agents that really are not very good at their jobs in the first place, but none of you listening are that profile. All of you listening are going to be the top producing agents in your marketplace.
So some of you have been starting the year or continuing your year, starting the next quarter saying, I need more deals. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what order to do it in. Well, start with the points from today's podcast, because 100% of you have friends. Many of you have past clients. You have professional centers of influence. You all have smartphones. You're probably listening to it right now on this podcast. We removed all of your excuses systematically. We showed you how to marry together passive with active so that you can end up with at least 5 new transactions in the next 5 weeks or less. Some of you are going to implement this immediately and get even faster results, far more than what we projected.
And when you do, please do share your success with us. Let us know over on Instagram. We love to share the stories. A lot of people send us little videos, and sometimes, usually, personal information is included, so we can't share that. But yes, guys, please do help us celebrate your victories with you.
If you're a coaching client, share it on the daily coaching sessions. When your coaches come on, the first thing they ask you, are you on track, ahead, or behind? Share a victory. That's a great place to do it.
Guys, thank you for continuing to make this America's number one downloaded podcast, number one downloaded daily podcast for real estate professionals. It is truly our pleasure and our honor to be your real estate coaches. I want you to never forget, this podcast at best is real estate training. This is just training. We're giving you ideas. We're giving you hopefully some education, some motivation, and now you have to get into action. The next natural step for all of you is going to be Join Premier Coaching. That's where you're going to get the scripts. That's where you're going to get more drill down. You're going to get sample, handwritten cards. You're going to have a buyer presentation. You're going to have everything you need to take your business to the next level. That is your green light to move forward. Go to premiercoaching.com or scroll down, read the notes that are from today's podcast, and click the link to join premiercoaching.com. In the meantime, have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow.
Hello, thank you for having watched this video. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. And don't forget to hit that like button, leave your comments and questions below, and we will get right back with you.
Thank you for watching this video. And remember to watch the next one. You're going to love that one.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.